Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the Esports Racing League Premier Series live tonight from Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Dane Spike here to bring you all the action from round two of the Esports Racing League, the league within iRacing created by Xfinity Series driver Anthony Alfredo, who is going to make his real-life debut in the race on Saturday at the Real Life Auto Club Speedway. But tonight, it's 40 laps of racing with the Cup Series cars at Auto Club, and we'll have a different winner this week. Anthony managed to get the victory at Daytona, and no, before you ask, no rigging of any sort whatsoever in that, but he is taking a back seat watching everything this week as all the drivers get set to tackle this 2-mile racetrack. And you take a look at the series schedule coming up for the spring. 13 weeks to bring us to the All-Star Week at Charlotte, where the spring season will wrap up. But a lot of good racetracks on there coming up, especially Phoenix, Atlanta, Homestead, Miami. Tons of variance amongst those places, and a lot of different things that drivers will be able to pull off as we wind our way through the spring. A lot of big names in tonight's field as well. A lot of names that you'll recognize as we take a look at tonight's starting grid, which is led by Matt Busa, the number 5 for Williams Esports. He'll be joined by Brendan Kaler in row 2. Blake Reynolds will roll off in the 3rd spot, and Alex McConnell will start from 4th. Zach Novak begins tonight for the 5th spot. 6th will be the 81 of Andy Trupiano. Jimmy Mullis rolls off from 7th. 8th will be the 19 of Brian LaPrade. James Lowe rolls off from 9th. 10th will be the 12 of Cam Caldwell. Alex Bell starts from the 11th position this evening. Braxton DeWeese in the 8 car begins tonight from 12th. The 70 of Aaron Smith rolls off from 13th. 14th will be the 16 of Greg McConey. Nick Olson will start from the 15th position. 16th will be Logan Clampett in the 99. Graham Boland in the 18 will start from 17th. 18th will be the 87 of Brendan McKissick. Jose Solis Jr. rolls off from 19th. 20th will be the 7 of Cal Ely. Andrew Freenards and Jared Liebert round out this 22-car field for tonight's race. A quick look at the track facts before these cars get rolling off of pit road and onto the racetrack. This is Auto Club Speedway. We are not terribly far away from Los Angeles, about 30 minutes to the northeast of the City of Angels, and tonight's race will be on a 2-mile, 3.22 kilometer length circuit. That's the distance around Auto Club Speedway. You're just trying to get a lap out. It's a facility that opened in 1997. 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 11 degrees of banking on the front stretch, 3 degrees of banking on the back stretch. Currently in sim, it is iRacing Day, May 15th, 2020. Current local time is about 8, call it 12:13 p.m. We'll go for 40 miles, or 40 laps rather, 80 miles, or 128.8 kilometers, and plenty of opportunity for some fun in this. Green, white, checkers on hand if we need them. Lots of drivers here, I think, who, if we're looking at storylines, would like to try and right the wrongs and right what happened last night in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series race at Auto Club. Logan Clampett immediately comes to mind. He was so strong in the first half of the race and then got caught up in the wreck when Michael Gariglia lost control out of turn 4 and came back down. Clampett had nowhere to go. Matt Busa had a decent run. Zach Novak was caught up in that same wreck that Clampett was involved in as well and knows he wants to do better. Made a point of it on social media today that speed that he had just was not shown, and wants to give it up for next week. It's a chance to regroup, revamp everything, and maybe come out with the win that might have eluded you as these drivers get ready for the green flag. Matt Busa leads them off. Green flag is out. We are underway with racing from the Esports Racing League Premier Series at Auto Club. Matt Busa and the 20 of Brendan Kaler side by side. There goes Zach Novak in the 90 down, looking to the inside of the Team Dillon Esports driver Blake Reynolds, who immediately gets put 3 wide between turns 1 and 2 on the opening lap. Kaler gets a little bit loose and slides way to the top side. Alex McConnell will go underneath him, as will Jimmy Mullis, and then it's a 3x3 something race a little bit further in the back. They're all 3 wide, and they spread out across this very wide Auto Club Speedway. No lack of room here in Southern California. You've got 4 or 5 lanes that you can race, and that can make things interesting because you'll see a lot of different lines pop up over the course of the day. One car, though, in the wall a little bit further in the field, it is the 12 of Cam Caldwell who got caught up. And coming out of turn 4, I think he got help from someone, but Caldwell now well behind this group with damage, and I think already is going to need a caution to try and get himself sorted. But in the meantime, it is Zach Novak who has taken control of this and jumped to the point. Boosa to second, McCollum to third, and then Reynolds racing alongside the 46 of Jimmy Mullis. Now it's the 20 of Brendan Kaler to the outside of Mullis, and that sim seats machine for Richmond Raceway Esports as Blake Reynolds comes down to the inside and then slides back up to maintain position. Got a little bit loose there and blocked Kaler, and Kaler had to wiggle out of it just to scrub off the momentum to make sure he didn't run right into the back of Blake Reynolds. Meanwhile, there's the opportunity for Mullis to go ahead of Reynolds. It might be the opportunity for the 20 machine to make a move as well as they dive into turn 1. It is still Novak in control at the front of this. However, Matt Boosa with plenty of speed on the outside. It'll get that momentum coming down the backstretch. It'll be joined by Alex McCollum in the 54 up top. Mullis has now cleared Reynolds, and Kaler will try and work his way around that 3-car next. And then you've got DeWeese, and then a 3-car battle, Nick Olson, Graham Boland, and the 19 machine of Briar LaPrade. That trio all running a little bit further back in this race. And also the aforementioned 99 of Logan Clampett, who was so strong in yesterday, or last night's race rather, at Auto Club. Beginning to poke his way through this field. He's up 6 spots from the beginning of this race, so no question that the 99 is beginning to work his way up towards the front of this race as we work lap 4 of 40. Boosa Novak side by side. Now it's the 54 of Alex McCollum giving a little bit of help down the straightaway to the 90 of Zach Novak. Gave him a little bit of a bump going into 3, and that got Novak back out in front. So the 90 car for Richmond Raceway Esports out in front. A whole host of peak drivers, or a whole host of Coke drivers. There's the first dollar in the dollar jar, I suppose, or first quarter in the change jar. That's that one up on the live broadcast, but of note, the top 5 are actually all drivers in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. First driver outside of that bunch, Brendan Kaler, in the 5th spot rather now. He's just managed to nose ahead of Blake Reynolds in that number 3 machine. And then Braxton DeWeese is there. Nick Olson is there. And this lead pack goes all the way back to about the 15 of Alex Bell, who has separated himself from the 34 of Jarrett Liebert, who has come up from the back of the grid and jumps ahead of the rest of these drivers. But they've got work to do to catch up to the lead pack. As one car on pit road already pulled it on. Andrew Farinards with some damage to the front end of his 88. Not quite sure what happened to Farinards, but he's off the track and on pit road, and I suspect out of contention for the win already. Short races here in the Esports Racing League. Oh, big slide there. I believe that was Nick Olson who went down to the apron, nearly lost it, and came back up into the racetrack. He'll gather it back up, but not before that car slides well down the order. 16th, 17th, might be about 18th or 19th before he gets back into some sort of decent position and gets his momentum back up. So, at the front of this, though, Richmond Raceway Esports 1-2. And folks at Richmond Raceway will love to see those 2 cars, the Sim Seats machine, the Sunoco machine, although Alex McCollum might have something to say about that. But it is Toyota 1-2. Here comes Brendan Kaler with a good run on the outside. Will have the momentum down the back straightaway, but at least nose ahead of the 54 of Alex McCollum. Not totally certain if he's going to be able to complete the pass. Meanwhile, Graham Boland looks to the inside of the 8 machine of Braxton DeWeese. He'll at least get that 18 machine down there. Blake Reynolds also in the mix here, trying to come to the outside of Matt Boosa and take away what would be the 5th spot, get back into the top 5. Big lead over the outside of Zach Novak. There goes Jimmy Mullis' teammate, then Brendan Kaler, who all of a sudden is trying to fight for the race lead. Novak, though, with the momentum in the middle, is going to slide up ahead of his teammates, so the Richmond Raceway Esports cars will head to the outside, and then the 20 machine of Kaler will stick to the inside, and he'll just get a bump from Alex McCollum. Those 2 will sit nose to tail. Just a little bit further back, same story for Blake Reynolds and the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, who had momentum on the outside. Those 2 trying to clear Matt Boosa, who has slid back since the beginning of this race. Started on pole and currently is scored in the 5th position. He runs side by side with Blake Reynolds. A lot of really good battling, though, right there at the back half of this lead group. 3 wide now for the 7th position. Brian LaPrade, Graham Bowen, and the 8 machine of Braxton DeWeese up on the top side there will slide back. So it'll be Bowen and LaPrade, and then LaPrade gets loose to the inside. So give it to Bowen coming out of 2. Here comes Clampett to the inside. DeWeese on the outside. 3 wide down the back straightaway. And the 87 of Brandon McKissick also there, ready to pounce if any one of these drivers just ahead of him decide to slip up a little bit. DeWeese got tight in the center of the corner. That checked out LaPrade, and that allows Bowen to clear everybody and now jump ahead of this whole group. And he's all of a sudden right on the rear bumper of the 5 of Matt Pusha, who will give him up to the 20 of Brendan Kaler as they're 3 wide for the lead once again. This time it's Mullis and Novak in the 54 of Alex McCollum, who led that last lap by, but currently sits in the 2nd spot as we work our way through lap 10 of 40. To the inside goes McCollum. He's got help from Brendan Kaler. Those 2 nose to tail, along with the Richmond Raceway Esports drivers up top. They're linked up together. Blake Reynolds sitting there, waiting, wondering which lane to take. Which one will give him some sort of room, or will he have the choice, because it looks like he got a little bit tight in the center of the corner. So now Graham Boland to the inside of the 3. Joe Gibbs Racing versus Team Dillon Esports versus Williams Esports. They're 3 wide, all fighting for the 5th position on the racetrack. And Logan Clampett, who we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, already up to 9th after starting all the way back in the 16th position. A mess of cars there at the back field, and then a good battle at the front of this is McCollum now will have to fight off Jimmy Mullis in the 46 machine. Looks a little bit like the battle we saw between Garrett Lowe and Ashton Crowder last night in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series event here at Auto Club. Still side by side. Once you get to about 5th on back, it's strung out a little bit at the front. You've got 3 cars running nose to tail, all trying to work their way past Alex McCollum, who was alone on the top side, and then Brendan Kaler thought about jumping up there, and then Zach Novak got dumped on the bottom, and they all left him, and then they slide back down. Everybody just trying to take advantage of the multitude of lanes you can run at Auto Club. It's what makes this track so unique, especially compared to most of the other ones on the Cup Series schedule. There aren't too many places like this where you can run about 5 or 6 different lanes because the track is that wide. Pocono is a place that comes to mind. The sister track to this, Michigan International Speedway, is another one that you see a lot of drivers jump out and go 3 and 4 wide with these, but there really aren't that many tracks like that on the schedule. It's usually 2 wide, 3 wide at best. So makes for a different dynamic of racing here in Southern California, as Mullis will carry the lead that last time by. We're already a quarter of the way through the nice race as they work lap 13 of 40. And Jimmy Mullis is right there and clear by about a car length for the moment. So we'll see what kind of run these drivers get down the back straightaway, as those front 5 have separated themselves by about a car length or 2 from the battle for the 6th and 7th position, which features Blake Reynolds and Logan Clampett in the 99 machine, who continues his march up through this field. No one has gained more spots save for Graham Boland, who started 17th and currently is working his way up to 4th, and outside of Alex McCollum in that 54, who, mind you, is 3 wide for 2nd at the moment. It is Toyota, and we might have another one if Logan Clampett can find his way around Brendan Kaler. But Brendan Kaler holding his own with a lot of the Coach Series drivers up here. He's been top 5 pretty much all night long, and is right there in the middle for the moment. Might have to back out of it just to save himself for a little bit later, and that'll give the opportunity for Logan Clampett to go to the inside. And now it really could well be a full Toyota top 5 outside of McCollum, of course, at Auto Club, as McCollum dances around the rear bumper of the 46 machine. There goes Zach Novak to the high side, Graham Boland to the middle. Backs out of it a little bit, though, just to make sure McCollum's got room. Nobody really forcing any issues yet. That may change as we get closer to the second half of this race. But for the moment, lots of P's and Q's being minded. Big move, though. The big move and a big block from Brendan Kaler, Graham Boland, and then Alex McCollum and Zach Novak. They all went to the inside going into turn 3 to try and get some sort of run on Jimmy Mullis, but Mullis will be able to roll the momentum on that high line and maintain the lead for the moment, and he will be scored first as they cross the line over McCollum, then Novak, then Boland, then Brendan Kaler just ahead of Logan Clampett for the moment as McCollum now goes to the point. We'll see if he decides to slide up in front of the 46 and claim the lead outright. He tried to, but couldn't quite do it. So he'll go there. The 46 will slide to the top side. Will carry the momentum down the back straightaway. He's got help from the Toyota of Graham Boland. He's got his teammate in the Coke Series, Zach Novak, there as well. Logan Clampett running alongside the 20 machine of Brendan Kaler as now Mullis gets more momentum, and looks like the 54 got a little bit loose in the corner as Boland got tight off the corner, got very tight. So Clampett will have the opportunity to go side by side with the 18. Kaler's down there on the bottom. Blake Reynolds with a little bit more momentum now, trying to poke his way down to the inside. Issue for Blake Reynolds in the 3 machine, though. He slides to the inside. It's the check wall. Looks like there might have been some sort of issue with his sim there all of a sudden, but Blake Reynolds down to the inside. And remember, it's not the first time we had that happen. As you see the replay on your screens, Reynolds ended up in trouble with a similar issue at Daytona International Speedway last week and managed to cause a caution just by pulling into the infield. But trouble for the number 3 machine, which will put him out of contention in tonight's race and bend the field just a little bit more as he becomes the 3rd car to have an incident tonight. Andrew Farinas with the damage. He scored 12 laps down in 22nd, and Cam Caldwell had that shunt over in turn 4 on the opening lap, but is currently running about 20 seconds back of the lead back in the 21st position. Jimmy Mullis, your leader through 17 laps at Auto Club, and then Alex McCollum, and then Zach Novak, and then Logan Clampett. You got a few guys on the inside in Camaros that are worth paying attention to. Veterans and some of the other more well-known leagues in iRacing. Sim 500's Brendan Kaler is up there. You've also got Brandon McKissick of the 87 machine, who is side by side with Graham Boland for the moment. Who gets the run into turn 1 and takes over that 6th position outright, though. Looks like it could well be Boland, but we'll wait and see what happens as they enter turn 1. Also of note, a lot of the side-by-side racing has brought back into contention some of the drivers who had fallen behind the split in this first group. That's everybody that was back behind about Braxton, Deweese, Nick Olson, and you've got a few names that we haven't had the chance to talk about over the course of this broadcast in the mix now. Deweese is there, Nick Olson, who was sent down to the inside some 5 or 6 laps to go, was on the apron, no less. You've also got Jarrett Leavitt is there, Jose Solis Jr. is there, Alex Bell, Kyle Ely, and James Lowe in the number 9 machine. The top 16 drivers, all pretty much in a blanket, and then you've got a trio here trying to run nose to tail to keep in touch with this group. It's Greg McConey, Aaron Smith, and Andy Trupiano a little bit further back, 17th, 18th, and 19th on the racetrack. Those 3, about 3.8 seconds, if we're going to be technical, behind this lead group, which is just about all packed up together once again and headed up by the 46 of Jimmy Mullis, who is now ahead by about a car length or 2. He actually has started to create a gap to the rest of this field, which is side by side for the most part through the top 16 as we cross the halfway point of tonight's race. 20 laps complete, 20 to go here in Southern California. 1 car down to the inside, though. I think he got help. It looks like it's the 15 of Alex Bell who manages to gather it back up and hang on to it, but he got a belt from someone, and that someone, I believe, was Kyle Ely in the 7, who just got into him as they entered turn 1, and that sent the 15 around. So now the 15 will slide back and be just about in the ballpark of that trio of McConey, Aaron Smith, and Andy Trupiano, who run 17th, 18th, and 19th. Bell now back to 16 as Mullis continues to lead. Novak is in second. First battle side by side is the 99 machine of Logan Clampett, and then the 54 of Alex McCollum. That duo going after it and trying to push on and find some way to go tackle Richmond Raceway Esports drivers. We know Clampett's got speed. His teammate Ashton Crowder won last night's eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series event from Auto Club. He'll now go to the high side to draw up even with the 90 of Zach Novak, the defending eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion, no less, as Jimmy Mullis now runs up high and will block the 99, leave the door open for his teammate to run side by side. You've also got the 54 McCollum there. The 20 of Kaler is there. Those two racing side by side for that fourth spot. And now here comes Graham Boland in the middle of all of that to try and jump around everyone as McCollum will immediately slide right in behind the 18 machine. Very deftly done, I think, for McCollum to get right back in line and not try and fight Graham Boland. Just with the way the momentum works here at Auto Club, usually it's better if you know you're going to get past, go ahead and give somebody the spot. It gives you a chance to regroup and gather your momentum back earlier, since so much of this current Cup Car package is momentum-based. So, Mullis Novak still in control, and then Clampett, and then Kaler. The battle that you need to watch is currently the one for that fifth spot. It's where Graham Boland and the 87 of Brandon McKissick are side by side for the race lead. They continue to go side by side into the corners. They work lap 24 of 40. It is side by side for the lead as well between Zach Novak and Jimmy Mullis. Wheel to wheel, Toyota to Toyota, Sunoco to Coke Energy to whatever reference you want to Sim Seats, I guess in this case, is Jimmy Mullis now. He's out in front by about a hood just for the moment. It also will draw Logan Clampett back into this. Also, here comes Brendan Kaler. He's got some momentum on the inside. Now, just trying to stay in the tire tracks of the 99 machine of Logan Clampett, the Burton Kligerman Esports driver, who gets a big run and will drop right down to the apron to make it 3 wide for the race lead on lap 25. 99, 90, and 46 are there. Clampett will let up, though, just a bit to get back in line. That might give the opportunity for Kaler to jump outside and get alongside Clampett himself, which is exactly what he'll do down the backstretch. We'll see if that momentum carries him into P3 outright. As it stands, though, 46 machine in really, really good shape. 90 machine working the outside. The place where you want to be on corner exit, no question, at Fontana. If you can get the outside, you will get the momentum down the straightaway and you will nose ahead of someone. It's just a matter of hitting the apex and almost determining your apex and designing your own apex through these corners. There are many different ways and many different places that you can apex Auto Club because of the width of this racetrack, and where you choose to hit the center of the corner, where you determine you want your center of the corner to be, usually goes a long way towards determining whether or not you get around somebody, as the 90 of Novak gave his teammate Mullis a big bump, and Clampett responded by dropping to the inside to get alongside Mullis, or at least attempt to get alongside Mullis, and then couldn't quite get there. And Clampett certainly having the redemption run that he wanted, this being a track relatively close to home as a California native. Clampett from the Golden State would love to get a victory here in one of the 2 California races that NASCAR has over the course of the season, as he now dives to the inside to try and get around the 46 of Jimmy Mullis. Not quite working it yet to his advantage, though, and didn't get the greatest of runs out of 2. You get stuck up on the inside and pinned down there as you've got another car to your outside, which is exactly what's happened to the 99 machine. Zach Novak was there. Novak let out of the throttle big time, though, on corner entry to try and switch up where he wanted to exit the corner and get down to the bottom of the 99 of Clampett, and he'll go all the way to the apron to get a nose alongside Logan Clampett. So there's a textbook switch of lanes for you right there, as Clampett they went to the high side to try and get at least to the rear bumper of the 46 machine. Instead, it leaves the door open for the 18 of Graham Boland to try and get around the 99 of Clampett, as he continues to work his way up to the field. Busa is there. Then you've got Brendan Kaler, and the 20 machine is also there. Brandon McKissick is there. Aldous McCollum slid back a little bit. Jose Solis has done a nice job working his way up to this field. Solis is up about 10 spots from where he started. Could be 11 if he can clear the 54 of Alex McCollum. And you've also got Brian LaPrade back there as well, trying to manage his run and maybe give a little help to the 2 machine. Gave Solis a big bump down the front straightaway to clear the 54 McCollum. So there's Brian LaPrade, who jumps up ahead of McCollum, who now runs in the 9th position. McCollum back to 10th, and Solis now up into the 8th spot. He is incidentally now up plus 11. A few drivers that have made charges from the back of this field Solis is one of them. McKissick is another, 18th to 6th. Bolin, 17th to 4th. Then we talked about Clampett, who started in the 16th spot and currently runs in the 3rd position as the 87 of McKissick now races alongside the 20 of Brendan Kelly. You can see it on your screens. Those two trying to figure out where the momentum is going to come as they continue to push on and continue to fight at Auto Club in the final 10 laps of this race, which we will start next time by. Currently working lap 30 of 40 at Southern California's home for NASCAR, and still it is the Richland Raceway Esports drivers sort of dancing with themselves at this point. They've been bouncing back and forth between one another. Now here comes Jimmy Mullis to the inside, the 99 of Logan Clampett to the outside of Graham Bolin. You've got Matt Busa in the 5, who we haven't talked about all that much. He slid a little bit further back than I think he would have liked at the beginning of this race. Which we believe now he might have been saving his equipment for this final 10-lap run. 10 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway as they work their way into one, and that top 5 have just pulled away from that second group a little bit. The 87 of McKissick is the first car behind all of these, but he's just sitting there in the tire tracks of the 99 of Logan Clampett. The 5 machine of Matt Busa right there on the left rear quarter panel as they went down the back straightaway, and then Clampett slammed the door on the 5 machine to make sure that he couldn't get around him, and now they all go nose to tail, and it's about as strung out as we've seen this field over the course of this race, save for that battle for the race lead and now the battle for the 3rd spot, because here comes Mullis to the outside of Novak, his teammate, and then you've got Clampett, who's going to go make a 3 wide on quarter entry into turn 1 to try and take away the lead, but he just doesn't quite have the space to drift up the racetrack and carry the momentum that he brought with him into the corner, and that's what's going to kill his bid for the lead. And after all of that, all Zach Novak at the front, just like it was when they were coming down the front straightaway. Another attempt, though, to go down to the inside as they get a little bit closer. Nearly some contact between the 46 and the 90 because Logan Clampett forced the issue. The 99 not wanting to wait now. He got down underneath the 46, made a point of it, and then Graham Bolin said, you know what, if you're going to go dive underneath that Toyota, I'm going to go help this Toyota. And Bolin gave a big shove to Mullis down the front stretch, and now they make contact. The teammates make contact. The 46 of Mullis gets into the rear quarter panel of Zach Novak. There was a little bit more contact there. I think there were a few more cars on the inside that were getting into it with one another, and I almost think Novak got sent up there by the 99 of Logan Clampett, or at least forced to make a move as they all tried to back out, but it ended up being all Novak who slid up to the top side and out of the front of this lead pack. He'll have to try and claw his way back up there. In the meantime, though, Jimmy Mullis moves his teammate out of the way, and Mullis now goes side by side with Clampett for the race lead. Here comes Matt Busa in the 5 machine with a little bit of help to the inside. Gives a big push for the 46 to get him out in front. Makes me wonder, and I wonder if you're any one of these drivers sitting back at about 3rd, 4th, 5th, Brandon McKissick, and Graham Bolin or so, if you see that move from Logan Clampett, do you in your head think, oh man, Clampett's going to be aggressive whatever we do, and I don't need to be anywhere near him? Or you appreciate the aggressiveness and you try and help him? All decisions that these drivers are going to have to make within these final, I call it 6 laps, officially 6 when we get to the line, or so. Mullis, Clampett. Mullis, Clampett. Clampett will be the one who has the lead at the line. Then Busa, who about the only Ford Mustang anywhere near the top 10. One of the few in this field, to be fair. The Williams Esports driver just waiting to see what happens between these two. A little bit of contact there between the 46 and the 99. And Matt Busa had nowhere to go. He had to give the 46 the bump that might open up the opportunity for Graham Bolin to go to the inside of the 5 machine. He will do that on corner entry. Can he stay alongside Matt Busa and or clear him in the corner? Didn't get a great run through the center of the corner, though, did Graham Bolin. But then again, Busa got tight. Now, all of a sudden, Logan Clampett's got a little bit of breathing room. It's not a lot, but it's enough to be appreciated with 5 laps to go at Auto Club. Here comes Clampett up to the high side to dive down into 1. Meanwhile, Alex McCollum has decided it's time to go. He goes to the inside of Graham Bolin, looking for that 3rd spot in the middle of 1 and 2. Matt Busa is there on the top side and will now have to fend off the 54 machine, but Clampett's got the breathing space out front, and it's really, really strung out until you get to that 4th spot. We'll see how much time Jimmy Millis and company have to get back up to the rear bumper of the 99, but Logan Clampett looking very, very good in these final few laps. 4 laps to go when they hit the stripe. Clampett out in front by about 0.3 of a second, which doesn't sound like all that much, but is a significant amount here. Big move a little bit further back in the field. I saw the 19 of Brian LaPrade just dive right in front of Zach Novak and make sure he had no room to get anywhere as Novak was trying to put together a late race charge to get back to where he was just a few laps ago before his teammate got into, of all people. We'll make for a fun team meeting tomorrow morning, but as it stands, still Clampett, still Miller, still Pusha. Here comes Novak to the inside now. Big dive to try and get alongside McCollum, but he couldn't quite get to the side of that 54 G2 Chevy Camaro. And now he'll have to deal with Pratt. McCollum gets in the wall, though, coming off of turn 4. But Pratt will go to the inside. McCollum's going to dive out of the way and get to the outside with all that damage to the right side of the 54 and 3 laps left. That pretty much should secure McCollum's place at the back end of the top 10. Likely won't be a factor in these final few laps. Still Logan Clampett in front, though, over Jimmy Mullis and Matt Busha. Maybe there's something left in the 46 machine. We'll have to wait and see. Busa, though, has a big run down the back straightaway, and these front 4 have managed to catch back up to Logan Clampett within the last few laps or so. We could be side by side on the final lap of this race. 2 to go when they come to the stripe, waiting to see if any of these 4, any of these 5, or top 6 will break the draft. They're not side by side till you get back to Zach Novak and Brendan Taylor. That's 7th and 8th on the racetrack. Now here goes Mullis to the inside. He'll dive it in deep on Logan Clampett. He'll roll off the throttle to make sure he makes the corner, and Clampett will maintain the lead coming down the back straightaway, but he does have company now, and they should be side by side when they come back to the start-finish line. They might be side by side coming to the checkered flag, but white flag will be in the air when they return to the front stretch. Nose to tail for the moment. What kind of run does Jimmy Mullis get out of the corner? Does Matt Busa get out of the corner? Does Graham Bowen get out of the corner? As Clampett will come across the start-finish line and see the white flag in the second race of the Esports Premier League, or Esports Racing League Premier Series at Auto Club. And there goes Mullis to the inside with the big dive that he had to have. Will he lift now? Not even close, but Clampett slid up high just enough to make sure that he wasn't clipped by the 46. Busa, I think, got the wall coming out of 2. Jimmy Mullis will have one more shot. Big block from Busa to try and keep Graham Bowen out of the way. And Clampett's going to get the top side to Mullis, and Mullis is going to try and get to the rear bumper of the 99. He got it too good, though. There goes the 99. Boland's going to have the opportunity to get down to the bottom. Will he have the room to make it stick? They go to the top side. Clampett blocks. Here goes Boland to the inside. He gets in the grass. That Busa with a run, but Logan Clampett holds on to win the second race of the Esports Racing League Premier Series at Auto Club Speedway. And I think Logan Clampett will take that after the way his race panned out last night, where he quite frankly did not get the finish that he deserved with the amount of speed that was in his Valvoline Toyota Camry. But a nice run for Clampett to come through the field, started 16th and gained 15 spots to jump up into P1 when it was all said and done. Very nicely done for Logan Clampett this evening at Auto Club, as we will take a look at your full field results and tell you where your favorite driver finished. Logan Clampett in the 99 machine is the one who comes away with the victory at Auto Club Speedway. He was victorious by just about 5/100ths of a second over Williams Esports Matt Busa. Graham Boland came through the grass and tried to get down to the inside to take advantage of the lack of momentum that Clampett had coming to the line. Came up in the 3rd spot. Brandon McKissick was able to clear Jimmy Mullis. How about the run for McKissick? 18th to 4th at the end of this. The 87 comes on P4. 5th for Jimmy Mullis after he got into the back of Clampett in 3 and 4. Got sideways, lost the momentum, and couldn't quite gather it back up. Brian LaPrade in the 19 machine. He comes home in the 6th position. 7th went to the 90 machine of Zach Novak. Brendan Kaler was 8th in the 20 machine. Braxton DeWeese in the 9, or the 8 was 9th There's a tongue twister for you. Alex McCallum in the 54 finished in the 10th spot. 11th was the 2 of Jose Solis Jr. 12th, the 34 of Jarrett Lieber. Alex Bell in the 15 car finished in the 13th spot. 14th went to Nick Olson in the 24. Aaron Smith in the 15 machine. The 15th position, what the 70 machine. Well, as I twist these numbers back and forth again. Kyle Ely finished in 16th. 17th went to James Lowe. Greg McConey was 18th. 19th was Andy Trupiano. Cam Caldwell finished in 20th. 21st went to Blake Reynolds after he had the issue going into one, and Andrew Freenors with the damage at the beginning of this race finished in 22nd. Well, take a moment here to speak to some of your top finishers, and we begin by bringing in the driver of the number 99 Valvoline Toyota Camry for Burton Kligerman Esports, Logan Clampett. And Logan, it came out today on social media, and not surprised that you felt the way that you did after all the speed that you showed last night. So it's not quite everything, but does this count as a redemption run based off of what happened last night?
I mean, it's cool to get the win here, but I mean, nothing can really stand up to the fact of what happened last night. I mean, if we're gonna get redemption, it's got to be in that series. But this was a fun race, nonetheless, with some pretty competitive drivers, and I had a blast battling with them all race.
Talk about just the challenge of working your way through the field with this package where so much of this car is just momentum. It's nothing like some of the packages we saw maybe 2 or 3 years ago where you really did have to manage the throttle on corner exits. So when everybody's bunched together so closely and there's so little space, how do you find holes to get around people and pick your way through the field?
I mean, I guess with this package, you just have to choose the right line, I suppose, and be behind the right people. I mean, I guess like in like the middle of the pack. Obviously, like you can't destroy your right front tire on this new tire model, or else it's gonna kill you. Kind of towards the beginning of the race there, I kind of took it easy behind those guys until like lap 18 or something like that, and then I started going for it. But yeah, a lot of draft with this package and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but but I mean, it is what it is, and it's what we're racing now.
Phoenix next week, one of the last races we'll probably see at this particular setup of Phoenix. What do you expect out of this group in a week's time?
I'm expecting a few drivers to excel at Phoenix, just because there's not a whole lot of draft there, and I expect it to be maybe a little bit more calm. So that'll be an interesting race. I always love going to those kind of short tracks, road courses, and such like that with this car. Just because I don't love the package on the mile and a half, so that'll be fun to race.
And finally, who do you need to thank for making tonight's victory possible?
Just thank you to Anthony for putting on this league and his staff. You guys for streaming, Valvoline for being on board, Burton Kligerman Esports, and Team Conti, GTR Simulator. All those guys really help and support me. So, yeah, I had fun tonight.
Logan, congratulations on your victory here tonight at Auto Club. Thanks for the time. We look forward to seeing you 1 week tonight from Phoenix.
Thanks.
Logan Clampett P1 this evening. P2 went to Matt Busa in that 5 machine for Williams Esports, the Ford Mustang. And Matt, it was oh so close at the line. You saw what happened in your windshield, and it looked like it was pretty crazy, especially once they got to turn 3. Take us through what you saw from your perspective.
Yeah, going into turn 1 on the final lap, I was pushing Jimmy, hoping he would get side by side with Clampett, which he did. And that was my only chance at winning. If they get side by side, and maybe I can cut 3 wide on the backstretch. But unfortunately, got a little tight in the center 1 and 2, and Graham got under me on the backstretch. And then I saw Jimmy shoving Clamp all the way into the center in 3 and 4, and I knew they would either spin or get really checked up or out of control. So I just kept it in it, and Clampett did a good job of not getting as loose as Jimmy did there, and was unfortunately about 4 hundredths shy of the win.
It was close. It was close. And I think you had an interesting race just because obviously started on pole, sort of drifted back at the beginning of this race and then surged back up at the end. Was that part of the game plan all along, or did the car just sort of come to you, or did you figure out something about working in this pack, especially in the nighttime conditions as the race progressed?
It was sort of a plan. I didn't want to go as far back as I did, but I was going to try to save tires a bit once I lost the lead on the first lap. So I was just lifting pretty early and waiting until about almost the center to get back to full throttle. And got stuck on the high side there. And that's what kicked me back to like 11th or 12th. And then I had to really use up my tires to get back towards the front.
Same question to you that we asked Logan Clampett just a bit ago. Phoenix next week, very different track from what we've seen here tonight. What are your expectations when we head to the Valley of the Sun?
Hopefully it's a little bit of a looser setup, since it'll be on a short track. I don't think the build is out until the week after. Maybe I'm wrong, but if the build is out, then actually I think it is next week. So it'll be on the 2021 Cup, or the low downforce package, and that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it'll be a good test for, I know we have Richmond coming up in the Coke Series, and Bristol, a couple other tracks on that package. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Finally, who do you need to thank for making tonight's runner-up finish possible?
Yeah, thanks to Williams Esports and our sponsors, Chill Blast, BenQ Monitors, Fnatic, Play Seats, and One All Sports. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and to Anthony Alfredo for hosting this league.
All right. Congratulations on your P2 finish at Auto Club. We would look forward to seeing you 1 week from tonight in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Matt Busa comes from P2. And in P3 tonight was Graham Bolin, who I think just about made the underside of his car as green as the top side of his car on that final run to the start-finish line. You went all the way down to the grass to try and get around that 99 machine. Were you having, or did you have some sort of? Didn't mean to do that. Okay, all right. So certainly not.
I just got loose turning left, and I was trying to get under him on the apron, but like I just turned too much, and obviously I got loose into the grass. But yeah, that last lap was crazy. I got under Busa because he got tied, I think, and then Jimmy got loose somehow by hitting Clamp it in the rear end. I've never seen that before, but yeah, and then I almost had shot to win, but after I went in the grass, I kind of lifted it a little bit, make sure I didn't win, because I didn't, like, that would have been a crappy way to win. But yeah.
That's an interesting one. A sportsmanship call more than anything else. Haven't seen too many things like that on the oval side in iRacing. Usually something I think that is a little bit more prevalent on the road side of things. But Sean Carr here, can you talk about the difference in handling between Auto Club at night and Auto Club in the day, like we saw last night in the Coke Series, and how you have to adjust accordingly to get the most out of these cars?
There's more grip. It's tighter. I mean, if you kill your tires, I started from the back, and I thought there was going to be caution, honestly, so I just went as hard as possible to get to the front, and it kind of worked out. I didn't really kill my tires, but they weren't the best either, so it could have been better.
Could have been, but happy with a top 3 finish. Brings you up in the point standings a little bit, gives you a leg up for Phoenix Raceway, which is where we head next Wednesday night. What do you expect out of that track down in Arizona?
Hopefully multi-groove by then if they fix dynamic track, and then low downforce, loose setup, maybe hotter track temp. That would be awesome, and then yeah.
You and Busa basically are in the same camp, because that's exactly what Busa said if they get the low downforce in with the new build. So it seems like a lot of drivers amongst the Coke Series are really looking forward to getting back to that package.
Yeah, low downforce is amazing. Like, hopefully they would have it for bigger tracks, but I'll take them where they give us.
You take it where it comes. You take the finishes where they come. You take all the good results where they come. Graham, give us a moment, or take a moment to send your thank yous, your shout outs, and let the people know who makes it happen for you.
Thank you, Brian Cook from Joe Gibbs Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing, and then Rowdy Energy and Interstate Batteries is sponsoring the car. Thanks you, Anthony Alfredo, for doing the league, and that's really it. Thank you.
Graham, congratulations on your P3 finish, and we look forward to seeing you at Phoenix next week.
All right, see you.
Graham Bolin, who comes home in the third position tonight to round out your podium interviews for race 2 of the Esports Racing League from Auto Club Speedway. And it just about wraps things up for us, but we look forward to Phoenix Raceway. We've seen so many name changes. It's gone in the past few years from Phoenix International Raceway to ISM Raceway to just Phoenix Raceway now. We could just say they pulled a Richmond and dropped the international part of it, but that's where we are next for round 3 of the Esports Racing League Premier Series, and you'll see that right here on the ERL Twitch channel. We'll bring you racing action from 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time next Wednesday night, first Wednesday of March 4th. We'll see you here. A big thanks to Anthony Alfredo and everybody at the Esports Racing League for setting everything up here tonight. Also, a big thanks to Cisco Scaramouza for sleepwalking his way to a computer and knocking out tonight's broadcast for us and making everything look far, far better than I will ever sound, I promise you. And as always, a big thanks to Gary Sexton and John Theodore at Podium Esports for their help behind the scenes as well. And to you, the audience, for watching tonight. For everyone, I am James Pike, the voice of Podium Esports. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Esports Racing League from Auto Club, and we look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday night for the third race from Phoenix. Until then, good night.